Moi, Huva Paeva, Chevechila Swami. Oh my god, kids, you have no idea how long it just took me to learn. Hi, good afternoon, welcome to Finland. So that's what that meant, if you were wondering. But today, I just wanted to talk about Finland's brand new idea to bring a basic income to every citizen. Hopefully. So this kind of all came about with the newly elected prime minister. Sorry if I butcher the name, but it's Juha Sipilä. Sorry. But he was just recently reelected as prime minister, and he comes from the center-right party, so fairly moderate, right? If we compared him in the USA, I feel like it'd be just slightly conservative, a little Republican, right? So that's who just got elected, and during his campaign, he was promising brand new, radical change for social structure. And he's coming through. So along with Ali Kangas, who is the Director of Research at Kela, which is the Finnish social insurance company that runs the basic benefit programs, such as unemployment with a basic income structure, which basically means reform the existing social policy that's already in play to better match societal changes, as tides turn and winter becomes fall, things change, right? We need our government to keep up with that, and that's what they're doing. Along with abolishing work disincentives and diminishing bureaucracy. Honestly, this sounds like a big win. Big win for Finland, so good work. They have the timeline in place, basically December 5th, we just passed. That was the announcement of this program running, kind of why the world is ablaze and wondering what the heck Finland is doing. The next deadline is March 30th of 2016. On that day, they're going to have their interim report, which basically means, hey, where are we? Where do we stand? Let's make some decisions. In November of 2016, they're going to make their final decision on the final report and start to roll out things for 2017. So we have a minute to get our straps in place, but what an exciting announcement that a country is going to go forth and really try to implement a basic income to make sure that every citizen in the country is taken care of financially. So after announcing the trial that's coming up, they did a poll on how it was received with the Finnish population. Really shocking to find out that, yeah, it obviously had its staunch supporters on the left, leftists. But to me, the shocking part, maybe it's because I live in America, is that their conservative party, so the people probably most wealthy and well off, actually voted this to go through by 54%. That's astounding. The fact that every political party in Finland is voting this through, the fact that the support from the community, the Finnish people, is heavily favorable. This is a really cool sign. This might actually be the first country to pull this off. So basically, over at Kela, Ali's job with his team is to figure out what is going to work best and how are we going to implement this to make sure we're doing it properly, screening correctly, getting the right results, right? So what they did was broke it up into 4 different things, 4 models that they could use, really. There's the best one, the main one, which is I like to call it the FBI, but it's for full benefit income. And that basically means it's high enough to replace any and all insurance-based benefits. This is really good for the people. This would really give power to the people. The lower income, working class people will finally get a foothold. They'll be able to spend money, in which case it'll all be put back into the economy, and Finland might see a huge increase in spending if they decide to go with the full benefits income. The next one is a partial benefits income, and actually that one's not too bad either. Basically, with partial, you still get the basic income at a lesser amount, and then you rely on the insurance-based benefits to cover the rest. It's okay, but there's still the loopholes of dealing with the insurance companies and the benefit programs. The next one is the negative tax income. That one is obnoxious, and honestly that's the one that the US tried to implement. We'll talk about that a little further in the video. It didn't work. Then the last one is probably the most unfavorable. It's deemed other. I don't even know if it has a name, but it's basically what they would probably do is give you a low basic income and then maybe incentives with participation points. So it's kind of like earn your way to more money. I don't know, it sounds kind of cheese-tastic. I'm really happy to see a country doing this. This is so far ahead of the time, even though it's so not. But just saying, like, for the people, we need countries doing this. We need countries standing up for the everyday man and woman, yeah? This is awesome. So, although, yes, it does have some kinks that they're going to be working out, they have some incredible people working on this, but the really smart thing that Finland is tackling head on is the fact that they're going to have to figure out specifications to be explored, you know? The juridical aspects, you know, the stuff dealing with the constitution, because Finland has a constitution that covers all people to be treated equally no matter income, and some of these test groups could prove a little tricky for getting around that, or dealing with the fact that you might be giving money to some people who do need it, but then you're not giving money to others. So they're trying to figure out ways that they can work that and everybody feel equal. Because that's important. When you're dealing with money, you want people to feel equal, but you also want people who are working really hard for their money to know that they've earned it, that's theirs, but also people who want to work for their money to have a chance to get there. You know what I mean? So it's basically, honestly, just a way to even the playing field. It's in no way making the rich richer, it's in no way making the poor poorer. It's a really good move forward. They'll also have to look at stuff like taxation and the judicial aspects dealing with just social legislation amongst themselves. They have to evaluate the cost of distribution. Are they going to put it on cards? Would it be directly deposited? You know, there's stuff, all of that stuff costs money, and they have to figure it out. And I think they're going to be fine because they're already doing that. They're looking at what's impossible. They're looking at what's possible. So already they've started forming the working group. The working group, that's what's headed by Ali. They're basically coming together to figure out, okay, out of these 4 plans, how are we going to implement them? Which one do we want to go with? They're kind of in charge of the structure of the whole idea. So this working group, they're really important minds trying to figure out what's going to be the best for the Finnish people. So basically their job is to evaluate the models, the research settings, and the samples. They're kind of in charge of it all, so they're a really important group. So right now they're trying to pick what model they want to go with. For that March 30th date that I had mentioned earlier, that's the day that they're going to pick one to try to focus on. From March 30th until November, they're going to try to study it. And then in November, the government selects the plan or model that they would like to go with, decide how they're going to implement it, and put in place the experimental settings. What I think is really cool about this is they already know they're going to give it a 2-year test period. Yeah, that's not a lot of time, but it's a really good amount of time, and it's really cool that they're rolling it out within months. I mean, honestly, the fact that by 2017 they're going to start this process, that's huge. And yeah, it's only going to be for a portion of the country, and yeah, it's just a test sample, but if this goes well, which it will, because the people are in love with this idea, if it goes well, it's going to be implemented nationwide there. And it probably won't take that long. So honestly, the people of Finland by 2020 might all be covered by basic income, which I don't know about you, but if you've ever had those months or years where you're scraping by and every paycheck you're worried about how to pay bills, food, rent, this is a game changer. Honestly, this isn't for just lazy people who want a free ride through life. This is for humanity. This is to keep us on pace, to strive to do better, to be healthy and have the basics taken care of, so that we can put our minds and our passion and our creativity into something real and create. Because that's what it's all about. I even came by a poll that said 69% of the Finnish population wants this implemented, and actually that the median for what they're asking for, so that's in the middle of the high asks and the low asks, is $1,000. That's awesome. It's been said in the interwebs as of lately that it's going to be around $800 to $850 a month roughly, but Ali confirmed that no price point has been set. There is no fixed anything. This is all still being discussed heavily. So there is no concrete number. But how cool that the people in Finland are voicing their concerns and that they're being met and that something is actually being done. This is incredible. This is a really cool time right now Keep an eye on Finland, watch what they're doing because they're doing something right. So back to that little blip of information that I was talking about before, a little sidebar of knowledge for you. I did find out that in the 70s, the United States actually tried to come up with an idea to roll out a study for basic income. So nothing ever really happened of it. It was just the study. But basically what happened is they refused to look at any other method besides negative tax. And if you rewind this video a little bit, basically negative tax gives you a little bit of money, but also weighs the money you make. As you make more, you get less. And the thing that doesn't make sense to me about this is, A, it's gotta cost more money and time and resources for all the people you have to hire to monitor that stuff versus just giving a heftier amount in the beginning and not wean people off based on income. Basically, the US defunded this project entirely because they found that in their ideal scenario, the negative income release would actually just force people to stay on welfare. And that, my friends, is the mentality that has lived in this country for far too long. Everybody loves to go around and say if somebody receives public assistance, whether it's some form of welfare or food stamps or maybe subsidized housing, whatever it may be, people in this country tend to think that they'll just want to stay there, like it's some sort of dream life. And that isn't the case, because let me divert all of your attention up to Canada. Yeah, because in 1970 they also released a study trying to pick one of these models to roll out for basic income, and they actually did a sample. And what's funny is in the small little community of Dauphin, Canada, is actually the only community that has ever tested a basic income like Finland is about to do ever. And it worked. It worked well, okay? The people loved it. And actually, the government came to find out that people didn't rely on the assistance, and that in fact, when they allowed people to have the assistance, it actually encouraged people to not only pick themselves up by their bootstraps, but force all of that creativity and energy and their newfound respect for themselves into a job, into a career, into a path that's going to open up something for themselves and many more. So it actually really, really helped this community in Canada. And yet, how much have you ever heard about it? In Dauphin, they came to find that actually the only people working less were new mothers of young children and teens. And in fact, even Canada got behind that and said, actually, we don't want our new mothers working as much, so that's okay. And teens probably should be studying. So it was totally fine. Everybody who went through this experiment was very happy. They saw an insurgence in the economy. Honestly, there is not one negative they can find about doing this shit. And yet everybody propagates all the, oh, it's going to cause a generation of lazy people, or everybody's going to turn into an obese, uneducated slob. None of those are true. None of those are true. It actually gives people more ambition, and it's honestly just a safe way to make sure that a country is taking care of their citizens. Because isn't that what it's about? As much as we give to our countries, our land, our heads of state, shouldn't we be taken care of? Shouldn't we, the people in any country, feel safe and guarded by our government? Feel protected? Like, shouldn't they want to retain us? I mean, come on, people. We need to take a little bit of the power back. I'm so proud of Finland. I've gotten to a point where I'm just already so annoyed with arguing over people saying, no, Finland can do this because they're tiny, America can't pull this off. It's just mind-numbing, because yes, any country in the world could pull this off. It's the higher-ups with all the money and the oil and the power telling you they can't. It gets in people's heads. They live on the fear, and then they spread it, and it becomes public knowledge. And we just can't allow that. Can we? No. So let's all take heed from our Finnish brothers and sisters and really press our government to implement something like this. The ideas are endless, people. We all could be comfortable, and that's a crazy thought. Anyway, I just wanted to say moi moi to my people of Finland, and I hope you're having a great day, because you are on the cusp to have a great year. Congrats. Anyway, Hope you guys are all having a good day. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I was very excited to do the research for this story. Hopefully, I inspired you to look into it more as well, because it's a fascinating topic. Anyway, take care of yourself for the rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.